Good evening, guys. I'm Ryan here with Michigan Storm Chasers. This is Monday Night Weekly taking place on our Sunday evening. The reason being, we are tracking the holiday train from Canadian Pacific. I'll be coming through tomorrow evening. I'll take the place of our usual Monday night stream. So if you're catching us this evening, that's awesome. Let me know if you're in chat here. This stream, though, I must say, is pre-recorded. So you're watching me pre-record this. I'm making a video currently at 4:43 p.m., but it will air live here on our Facebook and YouTube in the place of our weekly stream. Reason being, we are super busy here in terms of the business. So we are trying to fit as much in as possible. But enough about the nonsense here. Let's go ahead and start breaking this down. It's a very active week here. Let's go ahead and get through it as simple and quick as possible here. If you guys do have questions, I will be in chat on my phone, popping in, answering. So if you got questions, feel free to shoot those our direction. Starting the stream with our sponsor. Thank you to Katz Roofing and Siding for sponsoring our streams and videos here on YouTube and on Facebook. Feel free to give them a call at 517-485-9886 for your roofing, siding, gutter, and window needs. Let's start with our temperatures. Looking at the European ensemble, so taking a blend of a plethora of models into account, we're going to start the week Monday and perhaps the start of Tuesday a little bit warmer. 50 degrees on Monday for much of the state. Upper 40s should be expectation. A cool off for Tuesday, and then by the time we get to Wednesday and the Thanksgiving on Thursday, notice a drop off in the trend there. We go from 38 on Wednesday, 36 on Thursday. Those will probably be the high temperatures around that time frame too. But past Thanksgiving, here comes the cold air we've been talking about for a while now. 32 for a high Friday, and then past that, 27s for Saturday and Sunday with low temperatures in the low 20s. May even see some single-digit wind chills. Wouldn't be out of the question this week. But past that, that cold snap, so to speak, continues into next week. So don't expect a warm up anytime soon once we get past Thanksgiving. So expect that to be the trend here as we get toward the start of December and perhaps even into mid-December as well. Tracking that, and we'll have updates for you on the long term in a future video. Going over the precipitation chances, the first chance is tonight. We do have a forecast out calling for snow for the UP beginning as early as about 2 or so a.m. in the western UP. Then for the further south there, for much of us in the lower peninsula, we're looking at rain up to about a quarter inch at most. Up in the UP, though, we're going to have two distinct swaths, or we expect to be two distinct swaths of heavier snow, 3 to 5 there in the western part of the UP, and then 2 to 5 there in we're going to call it the north central part of the UP there by Newberry and Gladstone areas. Overall, we're going to expect a few isolated higher amounts possible in all the UP. We could see 1 to 3 even overachieve, 2 to 4 potentially. But overall, a general 1 to 5 inches or so, depending on where you're at in the UP. And then 2 distinct zones per the models that show a little bit higher amounts. We had to add those in. Up in the northern lower by Gaylord and Mackinac areas, we're looking at a rain to start. We could see some snowflakes mix in there throughout Monday, but as Monday night approaches, that should switch over to a more snow pattern, and that is expected to be about 1 inch or 2 up there, maybe 3 in isolated spots, but because of the mixing and stuff, we're expecting that to be minimal accumulation up there. That's your snowfall forecast for Monday and Tuesday. This is not for your Thanksgiving forecast. That's a completely different system we'll talk about here in a second. Moving on to the future, we are tracking a few different things here. Number one, we're tracking a system for your Thanksgiving time frame, Wednesday night and Thursday morning in particular. The European model is the model that we're kind of keeping a closer eye on things here, just because it is one of the only models showing a system. Now, knowing what we know about the last system and this current system for Monday and Tuesday, the GFS model has been the most accurate this winter, and typically that is not the case. Typically, we start looking at the European model for winter trends and just overall accuracy when it comes to these systems at a mid-range point, which you're kind of in right now for Thanksgiving. So we look at the European now, we start thinking, well, it should be giving us a good idea. Historically, in past winters, it has given us a good idea, but it's one of the only standalone models showing anything concerning wise or precipitation wise for Thanksgiving. Let's go ahead and break this down for you. Go ahead and start here with the European. Looking at the system for tonight, we're seeing that rain move in, the snow up there in the UP. That will continue as it moves through the state. Rain for lower Michigan, snow for the UP. And again, northern lower into that mix of rain, snow there. But as we get toward that Thursday time frame, notice how lake effect snow showers up there in the UP continue off and on throughout Wednesday and Thursday. But here is the concern here for Wednesday night. We have a system tracking up from the south according to the European model that does track up and does change over to snow by very late Wednesday night into early Thursday, which is your Thanksgiving time frame. If that does occur, it could make some slick travel conditions across Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, or at least somewhere in the region. We're still about 4 or 5 days out from this, so we can't get too specific and too detailed because our confidence is extremely low. But the European model does throw out a couple inches of accumulation across parts of southern Michigan. However, the GFS model has been more accurate. When we switch this over here to the GFS model here while it's loading in, let's go ahead and go back to the 12Z run and compare it to this morning's model run. There's your system tonight, moves through rain, snow. As we get toward Thanksgiving, right about here, this is your system about the same time frame as the European, showing it moving into Michigan. Notice on the GFS model, it is south. It is way down here south, but not only that, it's also rain. There's very little in the way of snow potential according to the GFS. And historically speaking, this winter so far, the GFS has been the go-to model to get things right. So it's kind of a toss-up forecast right now. Two different solutions, two different outcomes, and honestly, anything is possible at this point, but we cannot say for certain we're going to be dry Thanksgiving. Sure, we could be. We're going to get snow Thanksgiving. Maybe, it could be a possibility, but we're not going to know that probably until Tuesday. When these models start getting a handle on things, we get more data coming in, stuff like that. So overall, keep an eye on things. We'll do the same. And I will say this, if we do happen to lean more so toward the Euro solution, areas in southern Michigan would be the highest probability to get some snow if that solution does verify. But again, that's only an if scenario. Past Thursday is another time frame to watch. Go ahead and switch back over here to the 12Z GFS with our isobars. Here's why. Past Thursday, notice one thing in particular. Those isobars, those black lines, are pointed basically northwest to southeast, meaning that our winds are shifted northwesterly. What that does when it mixes with our warm lake waters with an area of low pressure in close proximity, you get a ripe environment for lake effect snow showers. So even beyond your Thanksgiving, any snow or rain chances for your Thanksgiving, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, perhaps even into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're looking at lake effect snow chances kicking up for our snow belts here in the UP and northern lower and also the western lower peninsula. How much, when, that's all stuff we're not going to talk about. It's just a trend and a pattern here that we are seeing upon models suggesting this is a very favorable lake effect snow pattern. And yes, it will be cold enough just because that Arctic air is coming in. We talked about the very start of the stream. It will be cold enough for lake effect snow, and this may be one of our first bigger lake effect snow events somewhere in that time frame. We're going to watch it. I do think there's really good potential for accumulating snowfall past that Thanksgiving time frame, especially into the weekend. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll show you guys one model in particular, the European model. For example, here is a model for snowfall. We can go ahead and highlight this for tonight and also into Tuesday as well, Monday, Tuesday. There's your snowfall for the UP there. General, we're going to say 1 to 5, depending on where you're at there. And then as we get into Tuesday, more lake effect snow kind of kicks up there, which is why we're highlighting those two zones of 3 to 5 and perhaps 2 to 5 as well. And then as we get toward Thanksgiving, here's Wednesday night. Notice here further south, we're getting that snow according to the European model that does kick up a few inches across southern Michigan while lake effect continues in the UP. And that lake effect pattern will continue as we move toward that weekend time frame. Notice how some of these accumulations begin to intensify there, especially for northern lower. And here we go in western lower. We're getting lake effect in those areas, and that will only continue as we get into next week and go into the long term here. This model is just a model. It is not a forecast. Overall pattern is supportive of lake effect. How much, when, and where is still yet to be seen. So just keep that in mind as we move toward next week. Outlooks here for the CPC continue to highlight below average. Yes, we flipped finally after many weeks and actually many months of tracking above average temperatures. We are now in a below average temperature contour here, issued today from the CPC, valid November 30th to December 4th. We are in below average expectations. It is a 80 to 90% chance of below average temperatures across parts of the Ohio River Valley. Go a little bit further north, it's still a 60, 70% chance. it's a very good chance of cold temperatures. Going to the 8 to 14 day, much of the same. The eastern half of the U.S. below average, the western half above average, kind of flip-flop there. And then also as we move toward the weeks 3 to 4, we're looking at that below average continuing throughout the middle to late part of December. So perhaps a very cold or colder start to your December expected. And that will also support chances of snow throughout if we have systems continuing to move, which we do look to have multiple systems throughout the first week of December, between now and that first week of December. So keep that in mind. We could have a multiple snow chances through the first half of December. Now we go to our drought monitor to finish up the stream here tonight. We are still all across the state in a drought or abnormally dry conditions. Abnormally dry there, the legend on the right side of your screen is yellow, moderate drought, in the tan color, orange is severe drought. And then luckily no extreme drought in Michigan here, but the entire state is dry. Hopefully some of the snowfall can make a dent in it when it does melt, whenever it does, or whether it's in the spring or whether it's in a few days after it falls. Hopefully some of the snow can put a dent in the drought forecast here. But overall, it's very dry out there. So continue, if you have leaves to burn, continue to take your precautions and make sure there are no burn bans in effect for the counties and townships that you live in. That's all I got for you guys. As I mentioned, I'll be answering some questions in the comments here as the stream is going on, but this is pre-recorded. So unfortunately, for those who didn't catch that at the beginning, this is a pre-recorded stream. I will not be live here answering questions, but I will be commenting you guys back in the comments here. Keep an eye on things. Trying to keep you guys all in checked and keep informed. With that being said, stay tuned to our page for tomorrow. If you live in Southeast Michigan, the Canadian Pacific holiday train does come through later in the evening, perhaps as early as 8 p.m. for the Detroit area. Could be as late as 10 or 11, though. It's very fluid, depending on how long it takes to get through customs at the border. And if other train traffic is going to hold it up, we will be covering it live. We have multiple partners and chasers who will be out in position to give us updates on where it's at, and also streaming it as it passes through Southeast Michigan. So stay tuned to that. We expect that to begin somewhere around the 7 to 8 p.m. time frame, Monday or tomorrow evening. With that being said, we'll keep you guys updated on the forecast. Stay tuned to the pages. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to smash the like button for me, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning on an update video here on our YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. Have a good